Today we're going to talk about energy never lies. How to spot people who are in your energetic frequency. So, I am so excited about this topic. So, have you ever experienced that you see a person and you just feel attracted towards them because of their energy? There are two kinds of ways. One is where a person you think they have really good energy and you also think they physically look attractive. And then there's a really interesting thing where a person is physically very beautiful. It could be a woman, it could be a man, very handsome, very attractive, but their energy is so bad that they seem even ugly and not attractive, and you're like so confused. Like, they're so pretty, but their energy is so bad and they're not attractive at all. And then there are people who I would say, for me personally, are not as physically attractive, but their energy is so radiant and so magnetic that they suddenly became attractive to me. So this is what I just experienced, and I was like, this is so interesting. And let's go. So I have had the experience in the past that there are people on paper, they look like we could be friends. So they might be very smart, they're fit, they're healthy, and they may be very good in business, but there is just something around them, just their energy, something just doesn't feel good. Have you had ever the experience where everything looked good on paper, but something about their energy is just off? They're saying all the right things. They might be even doing the right things. But just something within my body just says no. It just says ugh. It just says no. Have you, please write it in the comments if you have ever had this kind of experience. Because I did. And especially growing up, I was like, forcing myself to still like try to work with them, or even in school just like try to make things work and try to force some kind of relationship. And then I just realized, if the energy is not matching, it's not matching, and it's not matching for a reason. And even if I'm consciously not aware of the reason yet, I unconsciously feel it. So for example, I have as a core value, and that is very important for me, health. So even when I was a teenager, health was super important for me. So working out, eating healthy, no alcohol, no drugs, no energy drinks, no caffeine, nothing. So it was very important for me. And no shisha bar or something like that. And when I think about one specific person. On paper, maybe they look good. They look good, or they look okay. And I'm thinking about a male person right now. They look okay, they have even some passions, what they're doing, and it seems also great. And people are even friends with them, or just something. But something in my energy just says no. Something just screamed no, and I don't know why. I just try to make things like work and just like try to be like okay friends with them, but it just doesn't work. Everything in my body says no, don't meet up with them, just don't have anything to do with them. And then I might either in the past choose to accept that feeling or not accept that feeling, and then always like weeks ago, months ago, pass by, and I find out, oh, they're smoking. Oh, they're taking drugs. Oh, they're eating super unhealthy. I didn't know when I saw them at the first time. I didn't know all of these things, but their energy communicated it. Their skin communicated it to me. Their body communicated it to me. Something just felt off, and I just felt that my values are not being met, even if it might look like it's not a big deal. They're on paper, they look good. So energy never lies. It never lies. If a person gives up unhealthy and sick energy, it doesn't lie. So for example, there are people, I'm thinking about another man as well. I love men. I don't know. I just have these examples in my head. Who he's talking about when he's going to the gym, he's like telling everyone. But his energy just does not give off the vibe, I'm healthy and I'm going to the gym. And then there are people, their body, and I'm not talking about super big muscles, but just their body just communicates their health, just communicates, I am looking good and I am healthy. And I'm like, okay, I'm seeing these differences, but I don't know what they're doing in their like times where I don't see them. I just see them in front of me. And the one person is talking all the time about health, and the other person who looks healthy is never talking about that. And then as I continue to get to know them a little bit better, I see the habits of the one person. And I might find out, yeah, they're like, I don't know, smoking, and they're doing this, and they're going to the gym maybe once a month, and then they tell everyone. And then the other person, they're taking their supplements, they're going to the gym, they're working out, they're taking care of their sleep schedule, they are doing good energy management, they are eating healthy. I didn't know all of these things, but their energy communicated it to me. My energy, the vibe I give off, speaks the truth. It is true. And we can get so many informations about the way a person, by the energy of a person. It's not that it's not something you can pretend. It is something you naturally give off by the unconscious thoughts you have, by the vibe you just give it off. Like, you just give it off. Some people, everyone just gives off a specific vibe, and yes, you can just read it. Energy never lies. So what I have decided for myself now, if I don't feel like the energy is good, even if it looks great on paper, I'm not gonna be friends with them. I'm not gonna work with them. I am not gonna do any business with them. I am not. So I if the energy is good, I do it, even if it might not look good on paper as the other person. If the energy is good, because energy never lies. And it just never lies. We communicate through our energy we give off. And you can read me by the energy that I give off. And if somebody's energy is really warm and loving and positive, and their energy and their presence is just glowing, then this is just the effect. There's a cause behind it. If a person is overweight, sick, very negative, you see it. First of all, you see it physically, you see it like in their energy around them, and there's a cause for it. This is just the effect. They have destructive thought patterns. They have destructive eating habits. They just have something that is working against themselves, and they don't know it. So it is so important to take care of our energy and prioritize our own well-being, because we're affecting people with our energy. When I have really good energy and I am around people, without me having to do anything, I uplift the room. I uplift the people. My presence makes them be more creative. My presence makes them be more happy. My presence just enlightens the room wherever I enter it. My presence inspires them. The way I am inspires them without me having to do something consciously, because just the way I am and the way I'm programmed and the way I behave is inspirational, is uplifting, is positive. And when we have people around us who are the same, who have good energy, we will feel good as well. And I actually don't know why I had this pattern, but I always had this pattern where I had bad people around me. Maybe I wanted to feel important, I don't know. Where I had people with bad energy around me, And I tried to uplift them and to like make the atmosphere be like more positive and better. And because I was so I didn't like that everyone is so low vibe. And I realized no matter how much I'm doing and I'm exhausting myself and decreasing actually my own well-being, I can never raise the frequency and the level of long-term happiness and joy of the other person, because they're programmed for misery, they will stay in misery. They're programmed for suffering and for stress, they will stay there. I might give them a short kick, but they need internal change. They need a change of heart, they need a change of nervous system state, they need a change of a lot of beliefs and a lot of integrated thought patterns. So I can't change them. And I don't want to, and I mean, I'm not getting paid for it. So where's the point in it? And they probably not even wanting that. They're probably even feeling good at the point where they are. So instead of exhausting myself trying to help people that do not want me to help them, we can take care of our own well-being and of our own energy and be around people who have good energy and a high vibrational state. So there are a level of frequencies and dependent on the emotions. So for example, shame and guilt is a very low frequency of energy. And that's why the more we do in our work and the more we feel loved and we feel happy and we feel joyful, these are very high level of frequency. The more we raise our energetic frequency that we hold in general. So of course I might feel shame if you like here and there. I might feel sadness here and there. But do I have this programmed in myself? Do I have a lot of sadness, a lot of anger, a lot of bitterness within my heart, within my body programmed and stored? Or is this just something that might come up here and there, but I release a lot of this old grief and anger and bitterness from my heart, from my body, from my nervous system? So yeah, people with good energy are like suns wherever they're coming, and people with bad energy are just like pollution. It just it just makes you sick. They don't even have to consciously do something, it just makes you sick. And literally it can make you physically sick, because sickness is a very low vibrational frequency as well. A lot of, for example, cancer might come from a lot of hold anger and grudge. So a lot of sickness are just a manifestation of the bad energy that we hold. So literally, yeah. But the cool thing is, when we do our inner work and we naturally increase the level of energetic frequency we are on, which just means that we feel most of the time a lot of positive emotions, and our nervous system is able to hold these positive emotions, and we are programmed to look on the bright side of life, to see the good in things, to see the good in people, to be positive. To be positive just means to be programmed and to have the neural pathways and to have the thought patterns subconsciously that make me look at the good things, that make me think positive thoughts. And everyone who is positive probably does some kind of inner work to be this way. We are all natural programmed through our evolutionary history to be really like quick to listen to emergencies and to dwell on the bad, because that helped us to survive in the past. So we consciously can and are responsible for developing the neural pathways and creating the neural pathways in our brains to have the ability to see the good. Because without the neural pathways in our brains and without the neurons to see the good, we cannot think what we do not have thought structures in our brain to think about. So it's like a box. If I'm always in this thought pattern box, which is very bad, and I don't have neural pathways outside of that, I'm literally physically unable to think better thoughts at this moment unless I train myself and I take the time to change my thought patterns. And a lot of people think they're victims to what they're thinking. We are responsible of our thoughts and we have the power of changing our thoughts. And we do not have to believe everything we think. And when I don't like what I'm thinking, I decide that this is what I'm gonna think instead right now, and I will affirm it to myself until there's a neural pathway. I have thought I was thinking this thought so many times over and over and over until this is just my normal state to go to, because I went this route all the time so many times, like a street. Or do you know, like these like these paths? For example, a path in the forest. Somebody walked once there, and then there's a little bit, like you can see it's like walkable, but not really yet. And then you walked it over and over and over and over until it really becomes like a path where you so easily and naturally you always walk there. The same is with our neural pathways. When we think thoughts over and over and over, they're our default thoughts. So if I think positive thoughts about myself and about the world and about the people around me and about the opportunities that I have, then this becomes my default state. And being positive and giving off good energy and like having a high amount of well-being, like feeling good, just becomes my norm. And I do not work harder than a person who is negative. It just is my default system. The question is, what is your current default system? What? What is your current default setting, and what do you want? If it's not matching, then you can just decide that you want this instead and work on creating the neural pathways and programming yourself and your subconscious to be that way. In the book Break the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's talking about when we want to create a different reality for ourselves, which just means we want to experience different things than we have right now in our lives. We need to literally become a new personality, because the reality that I'm living in right now, the relationships I have, the finances I have, the opportunities I have, we created them by the way we think, believe, and behave. And when we want to have different results, we need to change our thoughts so we can change our actions, so we see different results in our lives. So he's talking about, in the world, we're thinking, hey, I want to have better relationships, so I need to work on my relationships. Instead of, I want to have better relationships, this is the goal, this is the new result that I want. So I need to become a person who has better relationships in order to have better relationships. So instead of taking physical action steps, how I'm gonna improve my relationships, I am becoming the person who has good relationships. And how do I do that? By changing my beliefs I have and I hold subconsciously about my relationships. And I personally have experienced it so much. I had terrible beliefs about love, relationships, friendships, my family, and I saw it in my results. I didn't like it. I changed the way I was thinking about it. I changed how I felt about it automatically because I changed the way I think about it. I saw 300% of differences without any having to do any kind of conversations about how can we solve it. I did that a lot, and I had like conversations, and it didn't help. I changed. I became a person who is available to having healthy relationships by creating the neural pathways and by creating the beliefs about myself and my relationships, that I completely changed this area for myself because I became somebody else. And he's writing it from thinking to being without having any physical action steps and then seeing a different results. because by the way we be, by the way I am, I'm automatically behaving this way. So yes, energy never, never, never lies. My energy is never lying, your energy is never lying. The people we come across, their energy is never lying. If something feels off, something is off. Even if we don't see it yet, something is off. We can trust ourselves, we can trust our bodies, and we can pray about it. We can ask God, what do you think? What do you think about the person? And yes, trust that we make the right decision, even if it logically does not seem like it's the right decision, because on paper everything looks good. Just because it looks good, it doesn't mean that it is good. So if you desire to have one-on-one private coaching with me on the topic that whatever you need, it could be raising your self-worth, it could be improving your relationships, it could be increasing your confidence, whatever you really need, you can contact me. My email address is in the link of in the link of the bio. In the bio, so just write me an email and I will be so excited to work with you and help you and support you and just see these amazing changes that I have seen in my life, in your life. I literally can't wait. So if you're interested, just write me. And if you like this video, give this video a thumbs up and like and subscribe and share this video with someone you think needs to hear this. Maybe your best friend. I don't know, just share it. And write in the comments what was your takeaway from this video. What was something that you learned and you're like, yes, this makes sense. Thank you. So I'm excited to see you in the next video. Bye bye, you're Naomi. Mwah!